Hi, I'm Tennille Giancola, and this is Module 16, Case Study, Missing Booster Club Funds for EDL 854. Problem Identification and Analysis. What do I know? I know that the middle school, George Washington Middle School, is located in the older residential part of Warren, and it serves about 450 students, which is relatively small and not typical at this time. The student population and the socioeconomic status of the families within this community is beginning to decline. The families are very reliant on the textile mill to provide for their income, and that's causing some hardships within the community. Students at the middle school can participate in volleyball, basketball, and track. Cheerleading is also an option. Parents of this middle school are very involved. They are PTA members, booster club members. They volunteer for programs within the school, and they also help to supervise the gate and concession stand. Generally, two parents are at the admission gate and two are in the concession stand at home events. Daniel Stevens is the principal. He has been there for 4 years. He is well liked by the teachers, the community members, and the students at his school. And he also relies heavily on the PTA to help at school events, as he is the only administrator within the district. There is no other form of administration within this school. I also know that Mrs. Alice Bowman, who is the parent of Lucy Bowman, and Lucy was just recognized as an all-state cheerleader, and Mrs. Bowman has requested that the PTA support her daughter to go march in the holiday parade with other all-state cheerleaders in New York City, and that she needs $798 from the PTA. Mr. Stevens denies this request and states that these funds are to benefit all students and not just one student, and so therefore he denied her request. Mrs. Bowman was working the admission gate at the last home game of the season. She did note that tickets 78 through 88 were torn and damaged and had to be discarded. Mr. Will Dumas is a community member who attended the game, had a conversation with Mr. Stevens, and noted that he had to pay to get into the game with a $50 bill because it was his smallest currency, as he just got paid that day. At the end of the event, Mrs. Bowman does give the money bag to Mr. Stevens, and upon him counting that money and looking at the admission gate, the balance of the tickets, minus the 10 that were damaged, and the money in the bag did not match. And there was also no $50 bill. What I need to know, was there someone else working the gate with Mrs. Bowman? As stated earlier, two parents were usually working the admissions gate. Was that other parent present at all times? Were they there? Did they show up to work? Have these parents been trained on district procedures for working the admission gate and handling money and tickets? What number did the tickets start on, and was that recorded? Were the damaged tickets at the beginning of the roll? So was the ticket start with 78, or did they get damaged sometimes during the evening? Did Mr. Dumas really pay with a $50 bill, or was that just a comment that he made? How many people had access to the ticket or to the money bag that night? Were the district procedures followed accurately? And did Mrs. Bowman steal the $50? Did the other gatekeepers steal the $50? Where did that $50 go? The identification of the problem is during the last home game at George Washington Middle School, $50 ends up missing from the admission gate money bag. Mrs. Dumas is the parent volunteer working that night, who just so happens to have been the parent who requested that the PTA support her daughter in going to the holiday parade in New York City to march with the other all-state cheerleaders, and was denied that by Mr. Stevens. Due to the fact that Mr. Stevens is the only administrator at the school, he has to rely heavily on parents and them volunteering to work these places so that the events can run smoothly. My proposed plan of action would be to first begin an investigation by conferencing with Mrs. Bowman and any other admission gate worker to get their side of the story, to see what happened through the night. Determine if the money box was supervised at all times during the night. Was there at any point no one was around that money box? Determine if Mr. Dumas really did pay with a $50 bill. Was that high of currency in the bag? Determine how the damaged tickets were discarded. Can they be retrieved? Were they thrown away? Were they placed somewhere? Where did they end up? And to notify the superintendent and the district bookkeeper of this discrepancy that took place. The resolution of the issues based on promoting the success of all students. First of all, as an administrator, I would make sure at the beginning of every school year, before any event ever took place, that all of my staff members and parent volunteers were trained on district procedures for the admission gate. Begin by having at least one staff member always present, not just having two parents. Have a teacher, a staff member of the school, and a parent to work the admission gate and the concession stand as well. To have procedures in place for handling bills larger than $20, and to also have procedures in place to on how to handle damaged tickets. What do we want to have done with them? Where are we going to place them so that that can be reconciled and that can be checked off? And have the two gate workers also reconcile the bank bag and sign off on it to make sure that they agree that the number of tickets sold matches the money that was brought in. Debriefing the problem and reflecting on what I was thinking, feeling, and valuing. I was first of all thinking, when Mrs. Bowman requested that the PTA support her daughter, even though she gave a price amount, Mr. Stevens should have taken that request to the PTA board and let them determine, was there something they could give to her? Not the full amount, but could they have given something to her in helping out in some way? He shouldn't rely solely on parents. Where are the staff members fitting in? Where are they? What are they doing? He needs to start including his teachers and his staff members in helping with these events. Could Mrs. Bowman really have stolen the money? That just blows me away that a parent would do that, I guess. Maybe I'm too trustworthy. I was feeling empathy for Lucy Bowman. She has reached this huge accomplishment, has a great opportunity in front of her, and now possibly cannot go because they cannot afford to send her. I was also feeling empathy for the other students. This money that's taken in is to help them in their different activities and go to their activity funds. And now, even though it was $50, it is still a breach in trust, and I'm saddened that trust had been broken. I am valuing parent involvement. These parents have really stepped up. They do not have to help out, but they do, and they're there, and they're consistently there. I valued Mr. Stevens as he has to bridge the gap between being the only administrator present at these events, and he has to bridge that gap, and he has to make sure he is in more than one place and sometimes probably feeling at the same time. I'm also valuing the trust that there is between the school and the parents. That is huge. You have to have trust between your school and your community in order to make things run efficiently and a school to work efficiently. Issues I feel that are still unresolved or need further investigation. One would be, are there district procedures in place for admission gate workers and concession stand workers? Have all staff members and parent volunteers been trained on these procedures, or do they have access to them? Were there procedures put in place to deal with damaged tickets? What has happened to the money that was missing? We need to find that money. We need to figure out what happened. And will trust be able to be repaired between the school, the PTA, and Mrs. Bowman, and parents in general? Will that be able to be reconciled? Standard 8 reflection, the school leader promoting effective and efficient management. I believe that Mr. Stevens did this because he did deny the request for PTA funds to be used for only one student, as he understood that those funds were to benefit all students, and the amount that was requested was quite high for one student. 2 admission gate workers were always assigned, and pre-numbered tickets were used. Mr. Stevens made sure that he always was accompanied by a security guard and counted the money in their presence. He put those safeguards in place. I believe that those safeguards, I believe that those safeguards are important because you are dealing with money. You don't ever want to have the notion that you are being unethical and mishandling or mismanaging money that's present. The school leader promoting the social learning of every student. As our job as administrators and teachers, we have to keep the students and their well-being at the forefront of anything that we do within the school. And I feel that Mr. Stevens did that. First of all, he is well liked by the parents. He's well liked by the students and his teachers at George Washington Middle School. He publicly recognizes students when they have accomplishments. We know that he does that because he did that for Lucy Bowman when she made All-State cheerleader. He publicly recognized her. He recognizes that student activity funds must benefit all students, not just one or two. He's there for the bigger picture. He's there for all of his students in his building. And he recognizes that building trustworthy relationships is key between school and community. He relies on parents. He trusts the parents. They trust him. And when we are promoting the social learning of every student, there has to be a trust. There has to be trust between school and community in order to make that run efficiently and smoothly. The school leader promoting student academic learning. I believe that Mr. Stevens did this because of the good rapport he has with community members and with students. He puts them first. He's making sure that all of his students are safeguarded and their needs are at the forefront. He involves the PTA and the Booster Club in the overseeing of school activities and events. He doesn't just, micromanage that. He allows them to come in and to help out and to be there for the students. He is supportive of his students and their activities. You can tell that because he's at every event. He can visit with the parents. He empathizes with their situation and having difficulties economically. And he recognizes students when they do achieve and accomplish things. He recognizes that activity funds, again, are to benefit all students, and he makes sure that safeguards are in place so that money isn't mishandled. He was right on it. He knew immediately that there was an issue with the money bag and that it had to be reconciled. We as educators and administrators have to keep the well-being of our students always at the front. We are there for the students. We are there to educate them to the best of our ability. We are there to give them opportunities that we, as much as we can, so that they can, when they leave our buildings, they are well-rounded and ready to face this world. Thank you for your time and participation with my case study, and thank you for allowing me to learn so much about school finance during this course.